Welcome to the Stronger Than Your Boyfriend podcast, a podcast for anyone into fitness.
Especially for those of you who do burpees as your rest periods.
We are Heather and Katie, owners of Barpath Fitness, here to help you sift through the bullshit and toxic misinformation that permeates the fitness industry. Today, we are going to talk about rest periods. We are talking about resting between sets because, well, a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is I have a lot of clients when I first start, I don't know if you have this too, when I first start training them,
They don't rest.
They don't rest, yeah. They're like ready to go. They're like, is it time yet?
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, can I do something between, ask all these questions. Or the other reason is I see people in the gym doing this all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like you do a set and then you do burpees or whatever.
Yeah.
And just keep moving between. So we want to talk about why rest is important, why rest periods matter, and what makes, your training workout a training workout.
Yeah. Rest periods are actually critical in making your strength training workout a strength training workout.
Right.
You can't, you're not going to tell your body to build muscle and strength if you're not resting in between sets.
Yeah.
I have to tell people, like, I get you're here, you're paying for the hour or half hour. And I know you just want to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't even think a lot of clients feel that way. Like they're not getting the most out of their time that they're paying for. But I think they're there, they're ready to go. And they just want to, they want to do it since they got there and they're paying, you know what I mean? So it's, I don't know.
Well, rest is what allows your energy systems to recover. And this is actually what defines whether your workout is improving your strength, your hypertrophy, which is muscle growth. So when we say hypertrophy, we mean muscle growth, if you're new to the podcast, or endurance, which is the ability to maintain a certain amount of force over time is muscular endurance.
Yeah.
So these are different things with different goals, right? And if you only rest like 30 seconds for a heavy squat, you're not actually training strength, you're training muscular endurance.
Right.
And your rest period,
or cardio.
Right. Your rest period is what dictates the adaptation.
Yes.
So it's super, super important.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll get into, if you're training for strength, if you're training for hypertrophy, endurance, etc., generally what those look like. But let's first talk about how resting does affect your muscle growth, because at the end of the day, yes, we all want to get stronger. That's just muscle is a byproduct of getting stronger, or I guess if your goal is to build muscle, then strength is kind of like your byproduct, I would say. But either way, resting is key in between your sets and just recovering in general from your training. So we can't be training every day, all day, and going hard 7 days a week, but also you can't just be going back to back to back to back and with no rest in your workout, or else you're not going to build any muscle. You're not going to build very much muscle, I should say. So when you rest in between sets, you regenerate your body's ATP stores, which is that burst of energy that you get right when you start, when you do a shorter timed movement, I should say, right? So, and that's essentially a strength training set. The sets, if you're doing higher reps, they could last a little bit longer, maybe up to like 30 seconds or so. But a set is anywhere, and it's funny because, I have a coach, so I send him videos and, I edit them down. So I see, it's funny to see a heavy set of, squats or deadlifts or something, and it's like 11 seconds, in the video, and it's crazy because it feels so much longer in the moment.
Right.
But just to illustrate that you're not doing the work for very long, but it is very, very important to take the rest in between the sets, right? So what happens is your body in your rest periods, and there can be different rest periods, but when you are resting, the body replenishes your energy stores, removes any waste products, so that, that burning sensation that you feel, we have to, the lactic acid that you're feeling, just kind of let that taper down a little bit, helps kind of, you're creating inflammation as you work out, but there's a, direct inflammatory response when you do a set. So just letting that taper down a little bit in between. And all in all, what we've been talking about, you're sending your body a signal to build strength. Yeah. If you're lifting a weight for 10 to 30 seconds and then you're resting for, 1 to 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I also, when I see people, doing a bunch of shit, running around, and then they do their strength training set and then they're doing box jumps and et cetera, you're at a really high risk for injury, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So resting also will help to prevent injury risk.
Yeah.
Because if you're not letting your muscles recover and your joints recover, even in that short window of 1 to 4 minutes or whatever, you're doing these high skilled movements too. You're
Right.
just asking for a disaster eventually, because if you fatigue yourself, even if you have the best form and you're just go, 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 and even if you have the best stability, when you're fatigued by the end of your last set, if you're just doing a bunch of shit in between, that last set of squats is probably going to blow your back out or something. So, or your knee or something. So I also think that there's something to just sitting there and mentally preparing for your next set too.
Yeah.
Just to try to bring that intensity to it and thinking about it and thinking about the muscles that you're working and just, chilling.
Yeah.
People don't chill. You know what I mean? It's just, people just go. And that's just life. People go, even in their strength training workouts. But I do think having a trainer is nice because you have that conversation happening.
Yeah.
So it kind of distracts them. So
Yeah.
as a trainer, you have to be a good conversationalist. You
Yes.
really do. And it's a skill that, and technique really, that you build over time.
Yeah, you're really good at that.
Yeah, I've gotten really good at it.
I'm getting better because now I'm training.
You're
people
training
in
again,
person,
yeah.
So yeah, but
It's weird because I feel like I would classify myself as more of an introvert. But when I'm training, I talk to people all day long.
You're really good at it.
So I don't know. I don't know what I am anymore. But I like it. It's a fun
Situational
career.
introvert.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think the biggest thing, like people are like, well, I feel ready, to do
Yeah.
the next set. And I want to talk a little bit about the science behind this because it doesn't necessarily matter how you feel. I mean, there is a little bit of auto-regulation there, obviously, like you can wait, but there are actually scientific ideal rest times for different goals. So we're going to talk through that. So it's generally over 3 minutes for strength, right? 3+ minutes, maybe 2, but we're gonna go into this a little bit more, and it's usually higher on the 3 to 5 end. 1 to 2 minutes for hypertrophy, which is muscle growth, which we talked about earlier, and 30 to 90 seconds for endurance. So it doesn't have to be black and white like this, but these are like the general guidelines. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you have to know the rules before you break them, right?
Yeah.
And then you adapt them and apply them to your situation and body.
Yeah.
Specifically, like how much time do you have today? But let's go through why. So max strength and power. If we are training for strength or power, rest periods should be 3 to 5 minutes. Why? Why do you have to sit there for 3 to 5 minutes? Well, it mostly comes down to ATP, like we talked about. So ATP is adenosine triphosphate, and these stores need 2 to 3 minutes for full recovery. We know that after an intense bout of exercise. And obviously, if you are lifting max strength and power, you want to fully recover these stores, right? So ATP is the source of energy for use and storage at the cellular level. So it's like our energy currency, right? And it's what makes your muscle contract.
Yeah.
So if you're not resting 2 to 3 minutes between a max strength set, you're not restoring those. You're not replenishing that.
I mean, just think. Have you ever tried to do like a heavy double on deadlifts and only rest a minute?
Yeah.
No way.
It's terrible.
There's no way. You'd never be able to do it.
Hashtag CrossFit. But anyway.
Oops, we said it. Yeah, sorry.
But if you're training for low repetition activities of short duration, so this includes low repetition explosive movements too. So we are talking, who are these people? These are weightlifters, these are powerlifters, sprinters, football players, anyone training for a strength sport, strongman, right? This longer rest interval is going to allow you to produce the greatest muscular force possible for each set, which is important because when you do that, previous studies have shown that this larger amount of rest has a significant effect on your total volume for your workout. And we know what drives results and hypertrophy and strength, total volume.
Total volume.
So the more volume, the more strength and muscle growth. The more rest, the more volume. So in fact, there are 4 studies in particular that I reviewed that have a look at squat volume. And when looking at squats in particular, because this is a really taxing exercise, right? So we're looking at squats and rest periods. All 4 of these studies demonstrate that the longer the rest interval, the higher training volume, and in turn, the higher strength gains. So we also have to consider, though, because one of the drawbacks of this is they were like, there is a kind of like, there's a point where it can be too much, diminishing returns.
Oh, like resting for 10 minutes?
Yeah. Like if you rest for 10 minutes.
Then you're going to be really cold.
Anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, then my body's cold. And
You know what's interesting is, what was it? Remember when we were powerlifting? I read somewhere that there was a perfect amount of rest. I feel like it was 8 minutes. for a 1 rep max, like all out effort.
Oh, yeah,
Something
yeah.
like
I'm
that.
sure there's some science out there. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it was something like
Just
that.
before the point where your body gets too cold.
Well, and when you're doing a powerlifting meet, how it goes is you squat your 1 rep max, and
Yeah.
then you go and wait
Yeah.
for your next squat.
It's
and
kind
you
of-
do it
yeah.
3 times. And so I remember timing that weight, and I remember it was like 2 different meets that we did together, I feel like. And I was looking at it, and I remember when it was between like 8 and 11 minutes, I did really well. But when it went beyond 11 minutes, it sucked.
Yeah.
Like I had to warm up again.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that diminishing returns.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about hypertrophy. So that's max strength, right? We're looking at that 3 to 5 minutes, which might sound like a lot, but a lot of people aren't training in that max strength.
Right.
Like at some point in your cycle, you should.
Right.
Lower rep range, higher weight.
And when the average person, like one of my clients, if we're doing that for a main lift in the workout. Like we're not doing it for the whole workout.
Good point. Yeah,
So,
this is like usually high compound lifts, squat, deadlift. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need to rest 3 to 5 minutes for a lateral raise.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
So that's where we get into more hypertrophy.
Right.
So hypertrophy, which we're talking about, this is what most people train when they're in the gym.
Right.
This is just building muscle, trying to you are going to get strength as well, but your main goal probably isn't like strength, like raw strength. Your main goal is health, longevity, gaining muscle, all that stuff, as well as strength. So this is going to be 1 to 3 minutes. So if you are a average gym goer, we're talking to you 1 to 3 minutes. It's still at least a minute, guys.
Yeah, at least a minute, please.
Right? And compound lifts are going to be longer. So if you're doing a set of 10 on squats, you're going to be into that 3 minute most likely, 2.5 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're doing, isolation exercise, if you're doing lateral raises, you can go closer to that 1 minute for sure.
Yeah.
This is bodybuilders, swimmers, cyclists, general fitness enthusiasts, right? This is basically just training for size or general function, anything
General
that's like
fitness.
a general fitness goal. The last one we have is endurance and metabolic work. And so this is more of that 30 to 90 seconds. So you'll see there's overlap, right? Hypertrophy is 1 to 3 minutes, endurance is 30 to 90 seconds. So they do overlap, and that's because hypertrophy kind of has this window of I would say 12 to 15, even 20 reps sometimes that feels like you're still in that hypertrophy.
Right.
But you're also shifting more toward that endurance, right?
Yeah.
And endurance is muscular endurance, so force over time. So this is circuit training, this is HIIT, conditioning
so cardio.
overall. Yeah, cardio.
Cardio.
So you see when you break it down this way, if you're doing heavy squats and trying to get stronger and you're only resting for 30 seconds or a minute, you're not training strength.
Right.
You're training muscular endurance.
Yes.
You're training your muscles to do more over time, not to get stronger for one set or 1 rep.
Yes. I think that, we've talked about in the past, novelty's good, but I don't, for these compound movements, I don't think that necessarily applies. I'm never going to have someone only rest 45 seconds when they're doing back squat sets of 10.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
It's stupid.
My heart rate won't even be back down.
Right.
But so I think that you should vary them. And I did want to talk about, there's probably 2 camps of people who rest too much and then people who don't rest at all.
Yes.
And whoever you are, do the opposite is what we always say. But take into account your compound lifts and what your current goals are. So if you do want to get stronger at your compound lifts, which you always should, you need to rest at least 2 minutes. And you probably will feel, try it, force yourself to do it, and then you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah.
You will feel like you can do more.
On the next set.
Yeah. So it is kind of nuanced, whereas, you could push it with a lateral raise and rest 3 minutes, but why, But on the other hand, I'm not going to have you rest 30 seconds when you're doing, 5 sets of 5 on deadlifts or something like that. So take that into account. Totally. This is science and physiology. Your body needs to regenerate that ATP in order to lift as intensely as the first set.
Yeah, studies on rest periods go back so far.
Right.
I think the 80s was one of the studies that I was looking at. We still use those. And there's more happening too. But because that's how it is.
It is.
It's not going to change, so rest.
Can't change science. So but I will say, kind of on the topic of do what you don't normally do. If you never train muscular endurance, do a phase of it.
seriously,
do a phase of it.
I'm doing sets of 20 right now for glutes.
Oh God, that sounds horrible.
It's terrible.
20.
Well,
Are you resting like 30 seconds or so?
No, it's I think it's 90. I think it's a 90 second.
Okay.
It's like it's either 60 or 90. I can't remember, but I just finished our Stronger program a couple weeks ago, which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
And then I wanted to do something different, so I'm doing like a booty program.
Yeah.
Hip thrust 3 times a week.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, 20 reps.
But 20 reps. It's
cardio.
Crushing my soul.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about common mistakes people make during their rest periods. I feel like this really shouldn't be a big section, but it kind of is, because what you really should do is just kind of sit there and rest. But don't do mobility work either. I think a lot of people like to just, they try to stretch and they try to, like you can maybe, if your hips feel tight after a heavy set of squats, okay, sure. You can, get into a half lunge and stretch a little bit, but seriously, maybe just not. Like, just don't push it. I don't think that you need to just rest. I mean, if you need, the most that I do is if my heart rate is up, which it always is, because I suck at cardio, I have to just like pace around a little bit so that I can help my heart rate calm down. Yeah. Or what I really do is I walk to my water bottle and take a sip, and then I kind of just like sit there and try to breathe. Yeah. But anywho, mobility work, no. You should have dedicated mobility time. Mobility workout that you are resting in between those sets too. Or, a different time during the day. Yeah. So that I feel like people think they could get away with it because it's not, it's not cardio, it's not burpees, it's, it's stretching, but mobility work, if you're doing it right, you should feel it.
Yeah, it needs to be intentional. Yeah. Everything you do should be intentional. Yeah. So this whole stretching between sets isn't doing it.
Yeah, shaking your arms out, swinging your legs, okay, that's fine, but that's the most that you should do. Obviously, cardio movements in between your sets, no.
Aw, no burpees?
No burpees, no. You don't need to do burpees in general. I mean, unless you're a CrossFitter.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, wait, controversy.
Here's a big thing. I have never, ever, ever had a client do a burpee.
No, I've never had a client do a burpee. And I don't even hate burpees as a movement.
I've done them before.
Yeah, because personally. I think you have some explosivity. Yeah. You have strength. You're doing a push-up and a squat. Yeah. But the thing is, people, if I were to train burpees myself, it would be something like 4 sets of 6. You know what I mean? Yeah. With 90 seconds rest. Yeah. So I'm like really trying to do it as an explosive type movement versus just doing it to fatigue. Because sorry, CrossFitters, but when you're doing your burpees and your Metcons, you're flailing around on the ground. You're not doing the actual push-up. You're like, I don't know, you look like a worm on the ground because you're so tired. And I get it because you're tired, but it's part of the workout and you want to get through it, but form just goes out the window.
Yeah, and we did talk about this in one of our recent episodes about fitness competitions. We talked about like CrossFit, High Rocks, all that. Yeah. So there is a time and a place.
There's a time and a place.
We understand the mental. Yeah, we're not this and that.
We're not shitting on burpees. We're talking any cardio. So don't go run on the treadmill. Don't like do high knees or jump rope. Just sit there. Just rest.
Literally rest.
Literally rest. I don't even know. Ideally, visualize your next set. Yeah. That's ideal. Yeah. Because there's a lot of science on visualization techniques.
There's a lot of power there.
How effective it is. But if you can't, at least just sit down and go on your phone or something. I had a point in here to say don't go on your phone, but if it beats you, like running around the gym and doing burpees and shit and kettlebell swings, then I guess, go check your email, delete some emails or something.
That's me all the way.
I do. The most I'll do, because I really have to tell myself, don't go work. Like, don't work. Like, don't go on True Coach and check clients, because I will do that. Yeah. But the most I'll do is open my emails and check my emails, or open my schedule and just look at what I've got for the day. But I really try.
Send some Snapchat selfies. That's still a thing, right?
Oh, that's a thing for like 12-year-olds now, right?
I think Snapchat's still like big. Yeah.
It is for the youngsters now.
I have it, but I don't use it often.
Yeah, I don't. But I haven't used it since
actually
maybe
a bunch
college.
Of memories are coming back from when we first adopted Larry, the dog.
Yeah,
it's adorable.
That's funny because I thought they all like the photos disappear. Anyways, I don't know. Just send someone a Snapchat or a selfie.
Whatever
tell
you need
them
to
that
do to
you're
get your
working
rest.
out
Yeah.
and flex your muscles to them as long as you're sitting
not too
down.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just standing and lightly walking around like I am because I can't
Yeah.
breathe. So,
All right, let's go over some tips for
Okay.
optimizing your rest between
Yes.
sets. So I use my phone between sets because I have a Whoop, which I've talked about a million times. And I use the strength trainer, and I know a ton of people who have the Whoop who freaking hate the strength trainer.
Why?
So what it is basically you put every exercise in that you do, and you stop your timer as you do the set.
So it's a tedious process.
It's tracking your actual movement of like your wrist or whatever, and then it has like this calculation based on the exercise that you have in there. So if you say I'm doing a row, it knows like what that movement should be like, and then like track. So anyway, it's great. It's really tedious. However, like once it's in there, it's saved, and it saves your old workouts and it saves your old weights.
Okay.
So it's not, when you're on a program, it's not bad.
Got it. So you just do it in once.
And you do it, yeah, for a month or whatever.
Yeah.
So I use this because there's also, when you stop it, there's a rest timer.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Cool.
Yeah. So I use my rest timer all the time. So if you don't have that, a stopwatch, a watch, the clock on the wall, whatever, just use something to, time your rest. Another tip is to, like we said, differentiate how long you rest by exercise type. So if you're not getting super particular and you're like, screw this, I'm not going to look at a clock between every set. Okay, I get it. Just consider like longer rest for compound lifts, shorter for more isolation or accessory work. Like if you don't want to time it, just remember that like go-to rule, right?
Yeah.
Rest longer when you're doing squats. Rest longer when you're doing deadlifts.
I think if you're not going to stare at a clock, a good rule of thumb for your compound lifts is if you think you're ready, rest a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Like count to 60.
Yeah.
Give yourself another minute.
What's
least.
the brushing your teeth? Is it happy birthday or what's
I don't know.
I don't know, but sing a song.
I don't know. I have an electric toothbrush that times each quadrant, so I do so I don't need that.
Wait, does yours have the clean function too? Or the white function? So I accidentally hit the button to turn it on white mode sometimes, and then it's like it's like 15 seconds, and then 45 seconds, and then I get so thrown off.
No, I think it does different modes, but anywho, talking about toothbrushes.
Yeah, toothbrushes. Okay, next tip, use active recovery strategically. So like we said, it's not a bad idea to walk around a little bit, shake out your muscles. Breath work, this would be a great time for breath work, honestly. Mental cues, visualization, but all of that is fine, but avoid the taxing movements that are going to sabotage your recovery. And lastly, you could use a bit of auto-regulation here. So if you're not sure, you're not timing it, whatever, rest until your breathing and heart rate normalize.
Yeah.
Right? Enough that you feel ready to bring intensity. And again, this is subjective and not quite as impactful as actually timing it using science, but you can at least do this.
At least.
Right? Don't feel like, oh shit, my heart rate came down. I need to start the next set.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Like we kind of want to bring you down, bring everything down a little bit before the next set.
Yeah. You're going up and then you're coming down just for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So I do think that a big part of the problem for people with the resting, for the people who don't like to rest, is the time for the workout.
Yeah.
Just remember this. Do your compound movements. I would much rather have you do 1 or 2 movements for your workout if it's a compound movement and rest fully in between sets than get your whole workout in.
Yes.
Because like we were saying, it's all about total volume throughout the week. So if you need to go back and finish a couple moves later or a different day, whatever. But even if you don't, it's far better to do your sets of squats with the full rest in between sets, and maybe it's set of a heavy row or whatever compound movement, then get your whole workout in and only rest 45 seconds just to do it.
Totally.
Just remember that, because I have a lot of half hour sessions that I train, and we're getting at most 4 movements in. But they're always compound movements.
Yep.
And I think a couple people in mind that are like, they're so out of breath. We're doing squats and they're just like, sorry, I just need 1 more minute. And I'm like, okay, take it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not timing. I'm not going to time you if you go longer. I mean, if we're sitting out for 10 minutes, but if you're still out of breath and you're trying to go in your next set, chill. Yeah. It's fine. If we do 1 less set of squats even to get a better set, more intense set out of, 2 versus 3 or whatever, that's better.
Yeah.
So
most people need to err on the side of more rest, I think.
Yes.
Especially if you're in a hurry.
Yeah,
You need to err on the side of more
it's
rest.
so weird when you have the mentality of you're in a hurry. Everything's fast. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, well, just do your workout in the allotted time that you gave yourself, but still rest. Don't do it fast just to finish it. So, or don't just pick an AMRAP workout. I mean, whatever. Once in a while is fine.
Yeah,
I did
right.
that a couple times on vacation
Yeah.
just to move.
Totally.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Anyways.
There's a time for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Moral of the story.
Moral of the story.
Sit your ass down and rest in between your sets.
Yes.
And if you think you've rested enough, you probably haven't. So rest another minute. Count to 60.
Yeah. Higher rest equals higher volume equals
Higher
gains.
results.
Yeah.
Gains. All right.
Okay.
Peace out.